Welcome back to Crossfire. The hashtag for tonight is Crossfire. At Ken Mijungu, at KTN News KE. Join the conversation. With me in studio tonight is Jeremiah Kioni, Alice Wahome, and of course Godfrey Osotsi, all members of parliament, allied to different political parties. We want to discuss the state of the nation, regarding the politics, what's happening in the country. Gentlemen, let me begin with the ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for coming. I think you are hoping to find Wanuna here. She's not here tonight, so you will have to deal with me tonight. I guess we begin from the most spoken about topic of discussion in town. This is what happened last week in the county of Kiambaa, the by-election. And of course, this is a nightmare for any political party worth its salt, especially a governing political party, the ruling party, losing an election straight from Juja. Because Alice, you were at the polling station, and I saw the young men trying to harass you. I begin with you. This is a nightmare for any political parties. You're a Jubilee member of parliament, but I know where you are. Is there saving face from this, Alice?
For Jubilee, there is no saving face, in my view. I was not at the polling station. I was at the tallying center. Oh,
that was the tallying center.
Yeah, and yes, we had received the information that preparations were being put in place for rigging. And therefore, we felt, because we had kept away from the polling stations, our team kept away from the polling stations, and it was agreed by our teams and the returning officer that members of parliament, because in any case, whenever they appear, they cause some tension and, okay, an anxiety, and therefore we had agreed that we will all keep away. But Jubilee did not keep away. They were there. You saw Kimunya and Ko. And therefore, we are celebrating Kawanjiko. We are happy with the win. I think the losing team should just also maybe get themselves back to their drawing board.
Was there a reason?
See, there was a lot of bravado and promise that they will win. And there was a lot of intimidation. But
was there a reason, another reason why you're supposed to keep off the polling station? Apart from the fact that you're saying it was a mutual agreement that you had to
The reason, as I said, is that because the presence of members of parliament first has not been received very well, and they have been harassed by the police, and we did not want the members of parliament to start getting harassed. And then, of course, we felt that possibly the police will use that to intimidate the voter. You see, whenever there is conflict or commotion around the polling station, ordinary voter, especially the elderly, will feel vulnerable and may keep away. And you see the turnout during by-elections is normally very low. So I guess,
in what capacity, for example, were you at the polling station, at the tallying station?
I had a badge for the agent to accompany the candidate for the tallying center.
Credited by the IBC? Because
yes, we had three badges, one for SG and two others.
Okay.
Yes.
Credited.
Yes.
Because there is this, and I'll come to the gentleman, there is this notion that you are not supposed to
I did not even go beyond
the members of parliament from Jubilee, there was no way they were going to appear at the polling station because it was difficult as for a different political party who accredits you for that party because you're still a member of parliament for Jubilee.
I think there is no more cheating here or lying to Kenyans that we are together. We are in Jubilee technically.
By name?
By name, we are in Jubilee, and it is not by choice. We were thrown out of Jubilee, and therefore we are not crying. I don't think anybody is crying. Even the people who threw us out, they said we either ship or we ship out. But this time they forced us out.
Let me go to Jeremiah Kioni. Is there saving face? You have been in a major political party, you're a member of a major political party, but when such a thing happened straight from Juja, and then what happened again in Kiambaa, is there a political party worth its salt that can save face or find a way to spin it around to their benefit, regardless of the numbers that we saw?
One is that I was at a polling center.
For what candidate, as you say that? For what candidate?
The Kareli.
Jubilee candidate, yes.
And I was at that polling center from the beginning. That was around 6 o'clock in the morning, all the way until the counting happened. Very peaceful environment. A fantastic community in Kiambaa. They knew what they wanted to do. You did not need to talk to them. I was actually impressed. And we got to the tallying. Again, there were no crowds from the community coming to crowd to the polling center. I mean, if we conduct ourselves come 2022, that would be a major achievement for us as a country.
Okay.
Major achievement, because that was a very, very nice, and I didn't go to the tallying center because I thought there were enough people.
Okay.
And having done the counting at the polling center or at the polling station, anything left after that is really, you just be going to add confusion, because the votes are counted at the polling station. Once you have the numbers that they have been relayed to the officers,
you don't need to be there.
You really don't want to be there. I remember some young people at the station or at the center I was in were saying, oh, we must accompany the boxes, we do not want them stuffed. And I was explaining to them, you need not do that. Now just go home. You have already relayed the results, and they are as they are, and we will be able to monitor them from wherever we were. And I went home and monitored the results from where I am. The ones from Moya polling station or polling center, there was no tampering. The numbers were recorded as we had concluded the day. And as it continued, I can tell you that even as we were tallying or counting the votes at Moya, I told people this is a pendulum. It will go either way.
But it started and went throughout. They never changed. It never changed.
I'm talking about the center I was in. It will be Jogona, Kareri. So you could tell at the end of the day, it will be either way.
Okay.
But if you talk about what did we get out of it, I can tell you, as a member of parliament who went to campaign for the Jubilee candidate and for the Jubilee cause, I left that place a happy man.
Okay. In terms of the way the election was conducted.
And even in terms of the outcome.
In terms of the outcome.
The disappointment is in the people perhaps who are reporting, or the way others would see it. But for those of us who took part in that exercise, I left that place very happy.
Okay.
And I'll tell you why. It's because we were in Kiambaa. I was in Kiambaa for 3 weeks. I went to campaign for 3 weeks. At the beginning of the campaigns, at the beginning of our entry to Kiambaa, it was a very difficult entry. Very difficult.
Hostile?
The crowd had been lied to, given a lot of propaganda. It was actually hostile. But by the end of the 3rd week, you could call people and they would come and listen with you.
Okay. Okay.
So we started from having people who didn't want to even see us. But in 3 weeks, we were able to get half the crowd on our side.
Okay.
If we achieved that in 3 weeks, what are we going to do in 1 year?
All right.
Now we know what to do.
You know what to do, especially in the Mount Kenya region.
I'm actually addressing the Mount Kenya region.
I see Wakil is smiling. I'm going to grab
That's where the politics has been playing for the last 4 years. I mean, you told people a narrative for 4 years, and it's undone in 3 weeks.
Okay.
There is something to be worried about.
I'm going to come back to you, and I see Wakil is smiling, but you have you have engaged a lot in political parties and the kind of politics that go around the political parties. You are an ANC party-nominated member of parliament, but still I'll ask that question because we had also by elections on the other side, Matunga, and all that, and you saw how it went, ANC side and Ford Kenya one side. But for a major political party, the same question, is there a way that political party, regardless of what he says, because it's been described as a spin, it was a 50-50 win, we managed to change the hearts and minds of people in 3 weeks, like you said. But for a major political party, that was a complete upset. Do you agree or disagree?
Well, I do not agree, because Kiambaa was largely a contest, an internal contest between Jubilee and Jubilee.
Okay.
We have Jubilee that is loyal to Jubilee, and Jubilee that is disloyal to the mainstream Jubilee. So what we got in Kiambaa is that the disloyal Jubilee won by a slim margin. So I do not think it was an upset to the mainstream Jubilee. Because, and I want to correct my good sister here, Alice, who is a prominent lawyer. She has said that she was an agent in one of the polling stations. I don't think it's possible legally, because the Election Act requires that for you to be an agent of a particular candidate of a political party, you must be a member of that political party. Alice is not a member of the UDA party.
At least officially.
At least officially.
Yes.
She is a member of Jubilee. So I think she owes us an explanation.
How she got the back. That was my question earlier.
She became an agent of Jubilee.
Of UDA.
Of UDA,
yes.
And she's a Jubilee member. So largely, if you look at Kiambaa, and I've had this discussion even among our colleagues in Parliament, that this side won, this side won. The truth is that Jubilee won a contest between Jubilee and Jubilee.
Okay.
The difference was that this other Jubilee, calling itself UDA, got more votes, a slight margin.
530, about
530.
Yes.
Is still part of Jubilee, only that they don't believe in the mainstream Jubilee. That is the difference. So all these discussions around who won and who lost, I think is a misplaced discussion.
But there was a contest. It's not a misplaced discussion, Mheshimiwa, because there were two teams that were campaigning. Honorable Kioni has just mentioned how hostile Jubilee A found the ground. That was a different part of Jubilee. There was a contest. You can't say there was no contest.
It is the same team. They only changed the colors.
But there was a contest.
Some put on yellow, others put on red.
Wakili.
And even you can ask her. She's here, my good friend. I have a lot of respect for Alice because she's a prominent lawyer and because she's senior than me in Parliament. But the truth is that they are members of Jubilee.
Okay.
They are not members of UDA. Right from the deputy president
ANC
to the members
this on behalf of Jubilee. You are justifying a loss to the ruling party. You're spending it on behalf of Jubilee.
No, I'm simply saying,
ANC.
I'm simply saying that it was a contest between one party.
The fact that there was a contest,
two groups in one party.
The fact that there is a contest, it means they were opposing sides. Wakili.
Well, even when people are practicing in a field, there is a contest, A and B.
Yes, there's always a contest. It was a contest.
First, Ken, it's okay for people to continue dreaming and living in denial. We are quite all right with that. They went to Muranga Katuri, Jubilee lost. They went to London Ward in Nakuru, they lost. In Juja, they lost massively. Now this is there was also Lakeview Ward in Naivasha, they lost. We've come to Kiambaa, they have lost. And still, they want to deny.
Why are you not mentioning where they won?
They won in Mugoga by a small margin of 27.
It's a win.
And we said, actually, like maybe they said, it's a win. And we are not disputing it, although we know what happened. The candidate that was declared had not won.
Okay.
Nevertheless, we...
Really?
Yes.
The election is said, as a lawyer, there is no contest in court. How would you say that?
What I'm saying,
yes.
You can tell when you have lost fairly or not fairly. First and foremost, there was one form of one stream in Mugoga. You remember there was even a recount or something like that. The one form was not available, the form with the results.
But there is no contest.
And that form... I'm just telling you, you asked me whether, how the results and whether they won or not. The declared results are theirs. But the reason that they got those results is because one form was changed from 283 votes back to 242. Nevertheless, we've taken it. Our candidate is not contesting.
In other words, even UDA would have won
because to oppose it, you need to file a petition.
A petition, exactly.
Yes,
that's what I'm talking about.
I'm just telling you that those are the facts that we have.
Okay.
Because we also are doing our own audit. Even when you win, it is important that you do an audit so that you can also...
But Wakili,
Yeah.
Wakili, so long as there's no contest, it's settled. Because if you are convicted the way you are, there should have been a contest.
No, Ken,
Yeah.
facts are facts. The results are declared and a candidate won.
Okay.
And you can know that you did not lose fairly and concede.
Okay.
But you can also...
Really, a politician will concede
there is
knowing
no
they've
time.
not won
Ken, there
fairly.
is no time for a petition. Actually, there is no time for an election petition. For example, the High Court one that they are threatening us with. First and foremost, the High Court is allowed under the law to do it within 6 months. 6 months, it must conclude. If you are not satisfied, you can go to the Court of Appeal and you can go up to the Supreme Court. If you look at the time of 1 year,
We don't have it.
we don't have time.
Okay.
And 6 months to general elections, you cannot have a by-election.
Okay, address the question of...
So let me address the question
of one party, yes.
There was massive rigging. There was UDA and Jubilee.
It's not Jubilee A or B.
It is actually a candidate that both candidates were UDA candidates. Because Kareli Jama, for the last 4 years, was a UDA candidate. In fact, yes, he hosted. He was our aspirant. He hosted our teams in Kawaida, together with Kawanjiko. The two of them hosted us in Kiamba. We have been working with them. We talked with them. Jubilee had 10 other candidates. They did not even do nominations because they knew by way of results, by way of polls, that Kareli Jama was at about 90%.
Yes.
He was actually the winning candidate.
He was to lose.
It's unfortunate he has lost. Okay. But it is also fortunate for Wanjiko because he had faith in UDA.
Okay.
And we don't have a problem. So these people brought a 90%, a winning candidate to losing candidate. It's regrettable for them, but they never expected that and they were very sure that they would win because he was a good candidate. Let me talk a little about a party.
Yes,
a Jubilee party is a major party that has lost.
Yeah.
It is not a major party, it's the ruling party.
Yes.
It used all systems that you can imagine of, from chiefs in their uniforms, so unfortunate and uncalled for, because chiefs were being harassed, they were being ridiculed, they were asked to use money, the chiefs were being stationed within the polling centers.
But they still lost. But
they are not supposed to go within the polling center.
Okay.
Yeah. So I guess that we can leave it to Jubilee to lick their woods. To lick their woods. But
well, I have had a discussion on Citizen with the member for Madera, Naito Gachagua. Same talking points. I had had a debate with the senator for Nandi, Hot 96.
Gerard Gay.
Same talking points. So I've had them again here, and I can assure you that you will continue hearing these talking points. Let's move away from that. Juja was won by PEP, not UDA, Moses Kuria.
Yes. But a Jubilee member of parliament.
And
candidate.
Forget that aspect of dishonesty, leave it to the Kenyans. They're allowed there, they will make the judgment. I don't think there is any wording you can put to that level of dishonesty. But the thing is this, in Juja, we lost as Jubilee with 6,000 votes. Within 2 months, we lost with 500 votes. We know what to do. And I have told you again, we have a whole year to go. And the difficulties that you're seeing in Jubilee is nothing new. Whenever a party is in power, it is the punching bag of every other person who wants to get power.
Including its members.
Unfortunately, this time round, for 4 years, the party has been punched by its own people. Narratives that are full of lies and propaganda have been used to sway our thinking and also the population from the ruling party. But as I said, that has been done for 4 years. If we were able to do it to undo 50% in 3 weeks, then again you can see what we are
really
going to
stuck
do.
on the 3
And I can tell you I'm happy about it. And I tell you, watch this space. We know what to do.
3 weeks.
I wanted to say that even when we were in PNU with Kibaki, these are things we had. We had rebellions within the party. We had party losing nominations. We lost the seats in Kisii and other places. So it's nothing. To me, it's nothing to really make us lose our focus.
Okay.
And the 1 year that we have, we'll certainly do a bit of politics, which I don't believe we should really engage on as of now, because there is still an agenda to deliver on. There are promises that were made by us who went asking for votes from Kenyans. And it is only fair that we try and deliver on those promises as much as we can. And I want to thank those of us who are still on that course, because it gives me peace to know that I'm still working to try and achieve something that I promised people. And I don't belong to a destructive corner that you are permanently derailing, distracting, avoiding us from concentrating on what would help the ordinary person. Because once you've been given an opportunity by a Kenyan to sit in an elective office, it's a privilege, and one is a privilege that you have given. Two, you are occupying an unprivileged position. And you should use and do anything and everything possible to try and deliver. You should never walk away. You should never run away. You should never look for an excuse to try and look for something different other than what you told Kenyans.
I hear you. Honorable Sotsi.
Well, for me, I think picking up from what Honorable Keonia said, if you look at the results of Juja and now Kiambaa, there is
and so many others she has mentioned.
And so many others.
Yes.
There is a story coming out of it.
Tell us.
And if I take it back to the previous by-election, Msambweni, Matungu, and Kabuchai, do you know that the deputy president had been in Matungu for more than 10 times, doing church harambes, doing all manner of things. Kabuchai also, he had been there so many times. ANC, the party that won in Matungu, and Ford Kenya, the party that won in Kabuchai, they didn't have any single event after the general election. ODM, the party that was second runners-up position, they didn't have any event, but you saw the results. That tells you that they are putting in too much effort, but with the time, the results are not reflecting the effort. And what happened in Kiambaa, they may have won with a slight margin, but it looks like that is not sustainable with the time.
Across the country or
across the country?
Only in Central Kenya?
I've given you an example of Matungu and Kabuchai, where the deputy president, when they, for so many events, church harambes, giving buses, and all manner of things.
He still
lost. He was at distance number 3.
The question that I want the lady and the gentleman to address now is the outcome. Let's now try and translate that outcome. Was it a confidence, an affirmation that UDA has made inroads, and Central Kenya, where you come from and you come from, is being run by an outsider for the first time, such that he can infiltrate and win, or it's actually a loss to the president, who we've had the narrative that now his base, backyard, is shrinking? So was it an affirmation or a confirmation that indeed President Uhuru Kenyatta has lost touch with the ground? Let me begin with you, Alice.
Let's say that the Jubilee government has lost touch with the ground. That is a fact. That is a fact.
Wakili, I'll stop you. Sorry for stopping you. When you say the Jubilee government, you are in the government.
Yes,
William Ruto is in the government.
There is no problem.
So this is a blanket.
Let us proceed, Ken.
Yes.
You also brought in the name of the president. First and foremost, in Kiambaa, the president was not a candidate. William Ruto was not a candidate. They may have their teams there, but they were not candidates. So, and I think if they were candidates, maybe results would be different. I don't want to say which side they would have been, but obviously those would be candidates at another level. The president will not be a candidate in 2022. And therefore, in terms of political activities, I don't think that we can argue that he has lost his backyard.
Okay.
What I know is that the government is not, people are not in favor anymore with the government. Kioni is here and saying we should not lose hope and we should continue. Look at the background upon which Mount Kenya people are feeling the way they are feeling. You will find that all the members of parliament that supported, all these teams that you saw in Kiambaa on one side and on the other side, were supporting His Excellency the President in terms of the last 2 elections. Going forward, the President is not on the ballot. So we are looking forward to supporting William Ruto.
So to
us,
yes,
we know that Mount Kenya is defining its future with a candidate, and that candidate for president is William Samoei Ruto. And nothing is going to change for now.
Address that question of Mount Kenya for the first time.
So Mount Kenya, there are people who are trying to bring the narrative that it is divided. Divided somewhere either in the middle or, there are 2 opposing sides. In Jubilee, there are 2 opposing sides. Jubilee has battered itself, has dismantled its own house. Indeed, the president, unfortunately, and that was part of why maybe Kiambaa went very badly in the beginning. The president also said that he will be supporting another candidate should they come together. I guess he has a right to support a candidate. But you can imagine a ruling party president then saying he would be supporting an opposition candidate.
He didn't mention that, Alice.
He said he would, if NASA were to bring their teams together and have one candidate, he would support. That, I think those scripts are there. But let's even assume that the president is going to support a specific candidate. It's his right, and he can decide to support either candidate. And that's not a problem. We have no issue with that. For now, I think it is important that the president continues to be the symbol of unity and not to be seen to be supporting candidates going forward. In terms of performance, Kioni, you know that the government, many of us were thrown out. Actually, literally, all these teams were thrown out of the party. In terms of the committees, we are not really engaged in that at that level. So nobody should feel bad that we are not actively working with our party.
I'd like Honorable Kioni to address that same question, because affirmation or a confirmation on the other side, but more fundamentally, is what that statement makes. Yes.
And I think allow me to just also add that in line with what we have been discussing, that I think for the last maybe 2 years, we have had about 9 by-elections. And if you want to know how you are performing as a party, you look at the performance across those 9 by-elections. And I can tell you, like it is, if it is UDA we are talking about, I told you Juja was won by Kuria in PEP, a very small party that is already causing havoc within UDA. Yetuge or Muranga again, and where Mheshimiwa comes from, again, that by-election was also won by PEP. So in terms of looking at what are we gaining, are we losing, and this is why I'm saying
I think you need to say it is Jubilee that lost.
Yes, we lost. We lost.
Yeah.
And I'm saying, those losses are very useful because they help you go back to thinking and focusing on something. And I'm saying, we know what to do. And we did it in 3 weeks, and you can see we got half of the vote. And I want to tell you this.
I think all the votes were yours. You didn't get half.
Yeah, this was a Jubilee seat. And Koinange was a senior member of parliament.
Why?
Actually, the chairman
of
security committee.
I kept quiet when she was,
just a point of information.
When you are presenting your case to our country. So allow me to stop a bit. And I'm saying that in 3 weeks, we took half of what the rebels are taken from the main party. Half of the rebels, half of the votes, that means 3.5 million votes. You're talking about Mount Kenya. If you take away 3.5 million votes from the bloc of Uhuru Ruto, 2017, and you are trying to rely on that bloc to get to the presidency, you can already see that you are doing very badly in the opposition. because we defeated the NASA 2017 with 1.4 million votes. So if we have already lost 3.5 million votes, you are starting from a very low point.
Okay.
Not to mention that that trend is not a good one, where you lose 6 out of 9 by-elections and you are aiming at forming a government.
Okay.
Where you lose half of your bloc in 3 weeks, you are aiming to form a government. Let me go forward. That is a narrative for 4 years. That has been a destructive narrative for 4 years. And I never would want to rejoice in a member of parliament being removed from a committee and left without a committee, or removed from the leadership of a committee to another. But if we really wanted to remain focused on what it is that we promised Kenyans, it is always necessary to work with a team that is putting together.
Okay.
Putting together. And you are not telling a person to step aside because there is any hatred or you are doing is because can we just this short while that we have, allow me to say this, can we focus together? That reorganization within the committees, there was no rejoicing on my part, but it was necessary for the president himself to ensure that again he delivers on what he promised to the Kenyans. But again, for 4 years, the narrative, the propaganda, and it is couched in those talking points, is that our candidate in Mount Kenya is Raila Odinga, and Uhuru has brought Raila Odinga.
Okay.
The candidature of Raila Odinga was created by the rebellious corner. And they have been running against that presidential candidate. And of course, that is what they have been winning. And I'm asking myself, what will become of that narrative if the event that Raila is not running, Raila is not the candidate for Mount Kenya? Because, you know, initially it was that Uhuru is not going away. But that now I can see the narrative has moved. Because Uhuru, without doubt, is preparing to do what he can within 1 year and go home. It is upon us as leaders from Mount Kenya to show leadership and to show direction. And where we will be 2022, we know what to do.
You've really said you know what to do. Let me bring Honorable Osotsi now, and away from this, because we've discussed this substantially, unless you want to weigh in the fact that that group, the huge vote block behind President Uhuru Kenyatta, is for the first time on her admission, and of course his admission that for 4 years there's a narrative there, so they lost substantially and they're recovering. For the first time, the Mount Kenya region is being led by an outsider who's not from Mount Kenya, and they're trooping behind him. Perhaps you could weigh in on that, because I want to talk about ANC that has been given a green line to move out of NASA also. And I want to speak about her new party, UDA, that now the person who gave them the party wants it back. No. But first, talk to us about that. How is it, and why are they so comfortable that it's being led by an outsider and they're following and can even divide that voting bloc?
Well, I think it's not yet. We still have a lot to happen. You know, what is happening now is that UDA is like a player who is playing in the field alone. He can score on both sides. There is no opposition. So they can celebrate and say, oh, we are the best team, but then there is no opposition. I'm sure if President Uhuru Kenyatta went to campaign in Kiambaa, and Ruto also went to campaign, it would have been a different story. So I think it's very premature to say that Deputy President has taken over Central Province.
But it's their own admission.
Mount Kenya region.
It's their admission. It's the admission of Alice.
No. It's not yet.
I'll put it in my own words.
Things are going to change. You know, by-elections are not a very good pointer of what is going to happen in a general election. Because in a general election, for example, Alice here will be in Kandara alone, campaigning. There will be no Ruto to campaign for her. There will be no Uhuru to campaign. She will be there alone.
In the general election,
so
because everyone
we saw that we had like 100 MPs from UDA campaigning there. But in a general election,
100 MPs from UDA. UDA has 100.
No, those who
You
say
just
they are
said it.
affiliated
It's
to...
not true anyway.
Those who say they are affiliated, we saw them. You know,
100 in
they used to
Kiambaa.
come in Bunge and say, we are from Kiambaa. So they all trooped to Kiambaa and they were campaigning for the UDA candidate. But in the general election, everyone will remain alone. You will tell people, like she will tell people what she has done for the people of Kandara. So dynamics change with a general election. And I think by-election is not a good pointer.
Okay.
I know for sure that the new member of parliament for Juja was elected on PEP party, which belongs to a year that they have already snatched it from him, Moses Kuria. But now, in parliament, he's in Jubilee. He's talking Jubilee language. So it doesn't matter what happens in a by-election, but when now people sit down and they want to engage the people on the ground, things are different.
Totally different.
And you look at the voter turnout in Kiambaa.
40%.
Yeah.
It was one of
What
the
happened to
highest
the
for
60%?
For by-election.
What happened to the 60%?
No, for by-elections, it was the highest.
40 is acceptable.
Yeah.
It's acceptable.
That's why I'm saying by-elections are not good pointers of what will happen.
When you say that, I feel you're speaking from both ends of your mouth, because you just mentioned what's happened in Kabuchai and Matungu, and that confidence, because it was a by-election, yet when it comes to Central, now it's a different thing. It's not a complete test.
Ken, I'm simply trying to tell them it is too early to celebrate.
That's okay.
It's too early to celebrate.
That's okay.
There's a lot to be done.
Okay.
A lot of things are going to change. There will be a lot of dynamics in national politics, as Honorable Kioni has said, and all that will inform the voters on how to vote.
But on the contrary, William Ruto, the deputy president, at that time a presidential candidate, will be going around the country. Well, so as I
said, he's a lone player in the field.
Right now.
He can score on whichever side.
Okay. Okay.
He can score on the left, the right, whatever side.
I think
he can score.
If you allow me,
we still have people who will come in the
That is true.
battlefield.
There will be more candidates. There will be candidates.
And I can tell you, I am so, as a person who has also participated in various aspects of politics, as a practicing politician, as a strategist, I can say if I look at UDA, I sympathize with them.
Okay.
They are celebrating too early because the only region they control is probably Kalenjin Rift Valley, and maybe, as we have been shown from Kiambaa, maybe a fraction of Central Province or Mount Kenya. You go to Western, where they have worked very hard, I can tell you is completely zero.
And they confess.
Coast, they are trying to work hard, but I can tell you, when the rubber meets the road, it's going to be a different business altogether.
Okay.
So if you combine the votes from Rift Valley and a fraction of Central, that is not enough to make you the president of this country.
Okay.
They need to do quite a lot of work.
You see, Ken,
and these are the facts.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, now they have changed their narrative to say that UDA, we don't believe in tribalism. The other parties, they are trying to bring tribal chiefs together. But you see now, look at UDA. UDA is URP. And URP, when they were given an opportunity to choose ministers in the Jubilee government, they got CSS, PSS from one region. They never minded about Western. They never minded about Coast. They never minded about Ukambani. But now they are telling us that we are a party that does not believe in tribalism. How do you take that line?
That was 4 years ago. Perhaps their mind changed in the middle.
You know, if he has a presidential candidate, for now it's Musalia Mudavadi. Musalia Mudavadi never leaves. The farthest he goes is his sitting room, from bedroom to sitting room.
Musalia Mudavadi, that's not true.
That's
not true.
In terms of political movement and activities.
But even in the coast, Musalia Mudavadi was there.
No, Ken, let me put my case.
Okay.
What I'm saying,
no, but you can't lie to us. We'll
you
tell you.
Look at where he has been able to get members of parliament.
Oh, in terms of membership?
Yeah, so whether he has gone to Mount Kenya or he visited Mombasa, these people are around
Zero grazing.
Western Kenya, zero grazing, completely zero grazing. They pride themselves with the Kapchai, and actually, Kapchai and Matungu, they can celebrate both Ford Kenya and ANC. and they are entitled to celebrate. So they should allow us also to celebrate. Ken, there is something that you are mentioning, that William Ruto is an outsider in Mount Kenya region.
Yes.
William Ruto is not an outsider in Mount Kenya region. Remember, he started working in Mount Kenya with Uhuru Kenyatta in 2011, 2010, 2011, soon after the new constitution was enacted. And that's how they won the first term of their presidency. Then they have gone back there and they were given a second term. William Ruto was an active, credible, eloquent, energized throughout the whole campaigns for the two terms. So he has endeared himself to Mount Kenya region. So for you to want to, I would really beg that we don't use the term an outsider in Mount Kenya region. You could say that maybe the main influence was because of Uhuru Kenyatta, but you know, this was a twin campaign, and the way they did it, they first brought the two communities together. And from there, their intention was to build a larger team, a larger party, which was Jubilee, which had members of parliament throughout. Right now, Jubilee enjoys almost a super majority in terms of members of parliament. And that's why what they are now destroying around. You have heard Kioni is calling us rebels. You know, I'm not so sure Kioni is even very comfortable in Nyandarua, because they just lost Rorie, which I did not mention, Rorie Ward. And they put in the entire government machinery like they did in Kiambaa. All the chiefs, the DCCs, including my own DC, was in Kiambaa. All the CIDs around, you know, I don't know what they were doing. 3 CASs, Shebesh, no, 2 CASs, Shebesh and Beatrice Erachi, including the PS, Kibisho was there at night hovering in the tarring, around the tarring center. And therefore, I think that our intention is to create, a national party, and it is important that everybody strives and works in regions that are not necessarily your backyard.
I want to flip the question, because I need to give the gentleman also an opportunity to talk.
Tribal parties don't have space.
I want to flip the question just briefly. I need to talk to the gentleman. You say William Ruto should not be considered as an outsider.
Yes.
Every region in this country has kingpin, so to say.
Correct.
A supremo. And then we have the other people behind them. Do you believe today Raila Odinga can walk to Rift Valley, for example, and lead Rift Valley with exclusion of every other leader? Do you believe, for example, a presidential candidate from Central Kenya today can do what William Ruto has managed to do in Central Kenya? That's the outside
I think we should be congratulating Mount Kenya region for appreciating the work and the effort.
So do you believe it's possible?
It is possible. And we are working for that, actually, and William Ruto is working for that, not just Mount Kenya, everywhere. And that's why we were very proud of the votes we got even in Western Kenya, notwithstanding that we'll actually lost. Bonchari, we gave Jubilee and ODM a very big headache. And you know, Jubilee and ODM had a candidate last elections, and we also lost Naruri. So what I'm saying is that we must stop this business of kingship. And it has no place in the
future
in
of
the
Kenya.
new Kenya. And I'm sure you don't believe in kings.
Ken, you know, when I listen to the likes of my good friend Alice here, and many of the MPs from Mount Kenya supporting Ruto, I ask myself, what is this fundamental thing that the Deputy President has done in Mount Kenya that is making them reject Uhuru Kenyatta?
Have they?
For what?
Yes, they have. They have rejected him. They have rejected him and go for William Ruto. Something fundamental. Not those church services.
Do you have the answer?
Not those harambes. Something fundamental. Because
an idea, for example.
The same Alice and his friends are going to the people of Central Province and telling them, look here, Ruto is your person. Ruto is your savior. And they are also going there and telling them, Raila Odinga is not our friend. But I want to tell you, that Raila Odinga stood up in Uhuru Park and said, Kibaki tosha. Raila did not know who Kibaki was, where Kibaki was coming from. Jaramogi Odinga said that it is not yet Uhuru until Kenyatta is out of prison. Those are fundamental things that have been done. Ruto, yes, he supported Uhuru twice. But you cannot now say he is a better person to the people of Central Province because he supported Uhuru twice, and Raila and his father are devils in Central Province because they stood with the Kikuyus. Okay. I think we need to be fair. Okay. That's why I'm saying, which is this fundamental thing that Ruto has done to the people of Mount Kenya that Raila and other leaders have not done. Okay. That will make them disown Uhuru Kenyatta and go for William Ruto.
Okay. I think gentlemen and lady will not...
And the reason is, and I want to say here,
okay,
because these are colleagues, we sit in parliament, we take tea together. The reason is, most of the MPs who support Ruto are beneficiaries of sham nomination in Mount Kenya. They were rigged in the nomination. Okay. So they owe something to Ruto.
Okay. Okay. That's Mheshimiwa Kioni.
So Kioni was
I thought there was a fundamental idea behind this support.
Yeah,
they should be. I mean, a whole wakili like Alice will not be following Ruto because they rigged your
like my
nomination.
I had 28,000 very contested nominations.
But you agree, it's his opinion anyway.
And you know, she is not easy. You saw her wrestle down a man during the
I had 28,000
But this is, I think, we need to
be serious about this.
No, we haven't roasted. We have been serious. I think what my colleague has said, I'm sure he can write a book in it. But this is the thing. You see, notice the change of tone. That's why I'm telling you, you know what to do. Notice the change of tone for those who have been disruptive for the 4 years. And I have noticed it from the eloquent member of Kadara here. She is now recognizing that, yes, Uhuru is there in Mount Kenya region, and the rebellion is not... It was not towards him, it was towards the party. There's a little bit of changing of the narrative that has been there. And you remember, in the last 4 years, really, without doubt, the president has had it very rough from Mount Kenya. And the reason is because we, who were elected as members of parliament, took it upon ourselves to, just said the negative narrative. And when a negative narrative is given for 4 years and is not countered, it will have effect. There will be some crowd that will move with it. And I'm saying this is the negative narrative that we were able to undo in 3 weeks. And you know, the problem with propaganda is that if you hit it with facts, it quickly takes off. There is the issue that I had today from the Deputy President saying, kwani tulipatia rais kazi ya kwenda kuunganisha NASA? Agenda yetu imepotea na NASA. The Big Four agenda has disappeared. I thought you'd play out some of those things to help us in this debate. And he was even asking, where is the housing agenda? It's now lost. And without doubt, it will be lost for those who have been on another line of thought. But when you pay attention to it, we have 1,300, I think, and 70 people who moved in Park Road, in the houses that were done by the government. You look at the houses that are being done in Mombasa, the houses that are being done in Shaurimoyo, the housing projects that are still going on under the Big Four agenda. You look at what has been achieved in agriculture by Uhuru, because he's done it alone during this term of being abandoned, because he was literally abandoned. And look at the dispensary and the hospitals he's opening here in the night, you know. You can actually see work that he is doing with his hands on.
Okay.
And without doubt, it is now becoming clear to those who thought that at the end of another term, there would be nothing to show. There is now fear. that when we sit down and narrate what has been achieved,
in the 4
look
years.
at the level of rectification, connectivity in this country. The 10,000 kilometer roads, how many of them are being done? This express highway that is outside your window here. I mean, nobody imagined these things will be done here. From Chiromo Road all the way to Lemuru, that improvement, the road that she uses where she had a puncture, this Thika Road from that Makutano all the way to Sagana, things that are likely to be done within this year. So by the end of this year, you will be embarrassed to start and say, Uhuru has not done anything.
Okay.
And I now understand, and you can actually see the change of that narrative, and it is meaning that there are people, of course, within their party that are also working hard, and it is important that that comes out. Okay. So as we head towards 2022, the issues that will be at play will be very far from the propaganda we have fed to people for 4 years.
Okay.
And I want to say this again, because when I say we know what to do, I can tell you we do. We have seen this. This was the same thing with the Kibaki. Before the 2012, it was really difficult to go with Kibaki and talk about some issues in Central Kenya. But when the time came of making a decision as to where do we move from him to the next,
it was an easy decision.
It wasn't easy.
Yeah.
But it was, you'd have prayed with your political career to wish him away and to badmouth him.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a few minutes on the clock. Even the discussion, the topics I wanted to discuss, we can. But Alice, I have to give you a fair chance because he posed a question. What is this fundamental ideology, just in a minute as we close, that the members of parliament that we have seen from Central Kenya, especially because that's where we are measuring this discussion, are using to give allegiance to the deputy president? What is this?
You know, I was hoping he would say, in terms of development and availability and working with the people of Mount Kenya, he could have told us what Musalia, what Kalonzo, what Honorable Raila have done to be able to get the attention of the Mount Kenya region. I told you that for the Mount Kenya region was the largest basket of His Excellency the President and William Ruto. And it was a twin combined ticket. And since then, all the things that we have done in our first term, and even this term, because the Deputy President is still part of the government, the Deputy President will be able to take credit. But he will also be able to say, had we not started an agenda for BBI referendum, we would have, and handshake, we would have achieved much more. Indeed, it is true, electricity connectivity is going on and did very well in the first term. I think we have connected over 12 million. If you look at the infrastructure, the largest part of the infrastructure that Johnny is talking about was actually started last term.
In the first
term. First term, and it is continuing this term.
Okay.
Nobody is saying that is not happening.
What is that?
The Mount Kenya region's problem is economic destruction of that region. The people who were working here in Nairobi are now back home. You have heard the Gikomba people have been thrown out at night in Kariobangi. The youth are still where they were when we were promising jobs, I think 500,000 jobs. The infrastructure and housing projects were meant to create jobs. That has not been really a top agenda for this government. I mean, have we accessed health care?
Wakili, I'm running out of time, so but I didn't get a single.
I can help answer something.
Yes.
Two things that Kalonzo, Musalia, Raila, and even Wetangula have done to help this region is to maintain calm. They have allowed the person in office to do his best. That has not been the case with the deputy president. He took on campaigning from day one.
Which campaigning?
Well, the other thing is that the other important thing that is important to say is that during the first term of Ruto, we had more scandals during the first term. There was a lot that the president had to try and do to tame the stealing.
Okay.
This has not happened during the second term. The government was reorganized. Delivery unit was moved from one point to the other. We have seen more work being done in the second term than it was in the case of the first term.
Okay.
How I wish the two are working together.
They will have
Perhaps
done.
what we are seeing
Okay.
would have been doubled.
All right. I'll give you a minute.
You know, Ken, one of the things I expected Alice to talk about is freedom. You know, Alice has been part of the reform agenda, women reform agenda. And he knows that one of the major contributions of a leader like Raila to the people of Central Mount Kenya has been freedom, the fight for freedom in this country.
Okay.
By linking up with the sons and daughters of Mount Kenya, people like Rubia, people like Matiba, Wangari Maathai, to fight for the freedom from Kanu dictatorship, which Ruto was part of. I expected her to talk about that. Now she has not talked about freedom, which she was part of.
I was not talking about Raila.
No, we were talking about fundamental things that have changed the lives of people of Mount Kenya. One of it is freedom, including economic freedom. And that was fought by people like Raila, people like Matiba, Kibaki, Rubia, Wangari Maathai, and others. Koigi Wamwere and others.
Is that why?
Where was Ruto then?
Is that why he wants to
He
take
was
it
part
away
of the dictatorship
with
of
the
Kanu.
BBI?
Okay.
Yeah. So
Ladies
he wants
and
to take
gentlemen.
everything he did through
Ladies
the
and
BBI.
gentlemen, we have run out of time. I see it's exactly 11 p.m. I need to let you've had a long day. When I began speaking to you, you're already working. So I need to let you go.
You didn't let me talk. I wanted to protect my 27 constituencies. Anyway, another day.
That's a discussion for another day. Remember, it's the silly season. Politics is here. We'll have a lot of time to talk about this. But I want to thank you, Alice Wahome, for coming. Right? It's good to see you this other side.
Thank you.
I have not seen you on this side since I came here. No, we have not met on this side.
Yeah, oh, okay, pleasure. We know where we were meeting
We
on
were
the
meeting
other
the other side.
Yes.
And of course, Jeremiah Kioni, always a pleasure hosting you. And Osotse, thank you so much for coming. This discussion continues on Crossfire. Sophia Wanuna hopefully will be back next week. But even if she's not back, we'll have another opportunity to talk about national issues, including ANC. And of course, UDA, that is now, the ticket is being taken away. And thank you for...
And what we know to do.
What you know to do, what you did. You really maintain. We'll talk about that. And thank you for watching Crossfire. My name is Ken Mijungu, in for Sophia Wanuna for this week. And of course, we start broadcasting tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. until late at night. Thanks for watching on behalf of the whole team. I'm Rachel Witty, who was here earlier on sign language, to say thank you, have a good night, and God bless. See you next week.